Scotty, all since you're the newest one here, tell me your thoughts on this photo, the gold armor, the sword, the power of this photo.
Hang on, which one was that?
The
I've just opened the chat.
yes, last one in the chat. The Twitch, or
Oh,
sorry,
oh,
not
oh,
the
I see
Twitch
it.
chat.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah.
the Zoom chat.
I don't know who that would be, but I'm just I'm just looking at the detail of the pattern work in that. And it's just gorgeous. Like I bet this show could spark off so much like sort of cosplay for cons and stuff. Like I
Oh, I
cannot
know,
wait to
right?
see this. Like God knows how far this is gonna go.
Oh, I feel like we're gonna go to San Diego Comic-Con, provided this pandemic ever ends, and just see dozens, if not hundreds, of these people.
Who knows? I mean, I only go to the UK ones, of course, but never know.
You can do it.
So I have some thoughts on this one.
Go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
So the sun design, the first thing that comes to my mind is Anarion, because Anarion's name means son of the sun, har har. Um, but that's Isildur's brother. So the other son of Elendil. Since we do know Isildur is going to be present at some point in the series, it makes sense that Anarion would be as well. Anarion was also the ruler in Minas Tirith, whereas Isildur was the ruler in what then became Minas Morgul, was Minas Ithil.
Nice.
Originally.
All right.
Minas Tirith was its second name. It was
Yeah.
Minas Anor.
Yes.
Yeah, the tower of the setting sun.
Yeah, New.
Yes,
I'm
the
gonna
sun
come to
and
you
moon.
on this one, New. You've got the Silmarillion like the back of your hand. Tell us about your thoughts on the image. Do you feel like it's Anarion, and if so, what's the
I
backstory behind it?
I think Chris is pretty spot on with her thought process. Um, exactly what she said. Anarion means son of sun, and literally he ruled in Minas Anor, and Isildur ruled in Minas Ithil. Um, Minas Ithil is the tower of the moon. Minas Anor is the tower of the sun. Very specific. It's very specific design. Very regal design. They're lords of Numenor before they're from the royal line, even though they aren't a part of the main line. They're part of the faithful. So seeing their clothing and the sword in itself, this is a high lord, which they would be, and then they become kings when they come to Middle Earth, still in the Second Age. Or since we're going to see a Isildur, we're going to see an Arya. So I would go with that guess. I think it's spot on. Yeah, I really don't have too much to add to it because I think it's spot on. We'll have to see, but Chris, I think that was perfect assessment. So yeah.
I love it. Jamie, oh, sorry, go
I
ahead.
have another small detail. So behind the pommel of the sword, we see a Triskelion pattern, which is, I don't know if that started in Welsh lore. Someone would have to tell me. But the detail that I want to point out is in that Triskelion, tri-swirly thing, we also have the detailing of it looking like fish scales.
Yeah.
Which is very Numenorean as well.
Very Numenorean. They're people of the sea. They are literally mariners. They are the greatest mariners in the world since the elves of Aqualande, or some would argue, obviously Círdan and his people, but they are the greatest in the world at that time. All they do is sail and travel back and forth. Now they can only go east, not west, but literally that's how they get to Middle Earth. They go to Umbar, and they go to the different lands there. They land in southern Gondor and then march forward there, and that's where they settle Minas Anor and Minas Ithil, and also Asciliath. And literally they are seafaring people, so that's in line with my thoughts as well. So once again, just props to Chris for pointing that out, seeing that what looks like fish scales on behind there as well, behind the pommel.
So
in the floating sea.
If this does turn out to be Numenorean, Scotty, I definitely want to see you in this kind of armor. I feel like this would be phenomenal for you.
Covered it. All I was going to say is that when I first looked at this, my thoughts were Gondor or Gondorian king, like like the lineage from that. And obviously, like they pointed out, with Anar meaning the sun, we have the sun here represented twice. If you look at down below the writing, it's also on the blade. So it's obviously meant to be paid attention to. This is definitely paying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm expanding the blade so we can see the symbol. There's that sun in the design there as well.
Yeah, it's actually going to be somebody that has something to do with the fall of Numenor, or at least during the time of that. Also, you'll notice the ring while you had it zoomed in there.
Oh yeah, hang on, we can do it again.
I saw somebody mentioning that they could see a couple of characters. I didn't really see. I spent a little time looking at the ring. I didn't really see anything that stood out as characters. It could be, but it looks more like just a design to me. But for sure, this is going to be somebody, potentially the Anarion, who would have been in during the fall of Numenor. So we're definitely gonna. I think that's what this is.
I dig it.
So,
Emily.
And I do have. Oh, go ahead, Emily.
No, sorry. Yeah, no, just wanted to get Emily. Emily, your thoughts on all of this, because I know you're rereading the trilogy right now, right?
Yes,
So you're getting all of this like trilogy backstory fed to you sort of piecemeal. So your thoughts on this?
I just wanted to point out that I know Chris pointed out the fish scale is really tiny with the Triskelion, but there's also the tunic underneath the armor is fish scaled.
Yeah.
Oh,
That pattern.
So I just feel like this is a very homogenous costume. Like everything ties into each other. It's very pointed. It's very meaningful. It's not like somebody is throwing together pieces that they have. This was all made to go together, which again, like suggests somebody high, somebody royal. Like
yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
One thing I do want to point out though, that same the stitch pattern on this picture is the same stitch pattern that they used on the tunic in the one who looks like a rider of Rohan.
Oh,
If
with
you
the
go
with
back,
the horse. Yeah, hang on. I can
Yes,
go
with the
back right
horse
now. Give me a
pommel.
second.
It's the same design on the sleeves, the same stitch work.
Oh,
it's a
hang
different
on.
color.
Yep. Different
Different
color,
colors,
but same.
same stitching.
Okay, hang on. Let me get this up for our audience,
I'm
because
a geek.
only we know, Chris. You translate Elvish for fun and your job. This is
yeah.
okay.
I get
So
paid.
let's expand
It is
this.
the same like tunic undershirt, it just in a different colorway.
Yeah.
Interesting. That is the same. That is the
It made
same.
me wonder if these characters are somehow related, question mark, or if it was just a pure coincidence on
Interesting.
the stitching.
Let me throw that in the not Discord. We're on Zoom. The Zoom chat in case anybody wants to see the stitching on that old one. That's a really good one.
It does to me stand out the most to the rest. Even though there are a lot of like common looking ones, this one struck me differently for some reason.
This one gave me flashbacks of Twilight, and I felt traumatized.
All right.
I think
But
it's
other than that,
I think it's interesting too because that symbol of the apple in fantasy is actually almost always maniacal.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
Usually
going
is,
back
yeah.
to like,
Evil
you know,
Queen,
Sleeping
Snow
Beauty
White.
type things.
Mhm.
But and you know, I have the perspective of not being a super fan and just being someone who had watched the movies. This instantly gave me Radagast vibes.
Mhm.
Oh, but Radagast is good though. But like the symbolism.
But the
is...
symbol is so like the
Oh.
dirty nails and like that kind of like because he wears a cloak, but it's dirty and unkempt and thicker,
Yeah.
and not in the way that we usually like think of like Gandalf's cloaks.
Yeah.
it's rough woven instead of being of fine quality.
So my question to the people that know the books back and forth is, what color is Radagast's beard in the books? Does anyone
Well,
know?
he's called Radagast the Brown.
I
Radagast
know.
the Brown.
I know, but is his beard brown?
but not necessarily.
Because I
Yeah.
feel like in the movie it's kind of like a mix of both.
It
It's
is.
like grayish
Yeah.
brown.
A lot of the comments say Radagast. Whenever I've been looking on Twitter
Yeah.
and Instagram while we've been talking, and they mostly agree with us, but a lot of the comments for this one say Radagast.
I do want to say one of the comments a couple minutes ago, Air Bear, I see you. It's Denethor without the juice. I'm just imagining a giant tomato. I see you, Air Bear.
Oh,
I
no.
appreciate the comment.
The
Uh,
trauma.
We're
Just-
all traumatized.
Just going with the theme of the evil maniacal apple
Yeah.
giving, got to keep in mind this is before the downfall of Numenor. Sauron can shapeshift and
That's
he
right.
redistributes the rings. So
Oh.
he gives the rings
Evil,
to the
he's-
elves, and
he's
the
playing an
elves
evil
he has a fair form. But then he takes them back after the war with the elves, or during the war with the elves. He gets all the rings back except for the 3, and then he redistributes them. So I don't think he would use that same form that he was
Mhm.
amongst the elves, because I mean, people would know that there's a war going on with this dude Sauron. So if the apple is, you know, like the giving apple, like from Sleeping Beauty, or
Apple Theory,
not
Snow
Sleeping
White,
Beauty, but
Evil
what
Queen.
is it? What's that movie?
Snow
I
White.
can't remember. Snow White, and it's that kind of symbolism. You know, when he gives out the other rings, who's to say he isn't in this form saying, "Hey, I'm this old wise guy. I have these rings." This is just going along with that theme. This is not by any means headcanon or anything like that, but just thinking about the theme, Sauron can shapeshift all the way until the end of the Second Age. When he falls in the abyss, that's when he loses that ability, not before.
Same
So
thought.
he can transform into anything. And I would think he would use different forms to bait different races and different people. If he uses the same form, it would be less effective.
And New,
So
you bring
we
up
should
an
see him
awesome
do everything.
point. Chat is also thinking the same thing I did a few moments ago. What if
Maybe
every
they're all
single
Sauron.
what if they're all Sauron?
all
What if every
Sauron.
poster has just been Sauron in its different forms?
I mean,